Well, I'm glad that I didn't switch these guys around now. The country. Who were they again? Were they authoritarian Democrats? No. Our ideology has grown. Thank goodness for that. Yes, please. See, that would probably be... Enemy minister supports his ideology, if I'd not done that. Yes, you're right. There it is. Country Party. Market Liberal. Good. Gains more stability. Canadian Commonwealth declared war on the Union of Britain. So now I can legitimately shut down the elections because we're now at war. Right? That's how this works, isn't it? Isn't it? I accept. I will enter your war. Now cancel the elections, quick! Canadian Commonwealth. Yeah, okay, so we are in this war. Did you guys join the Internationale? No. Pan-capitalist thoughts. Wow, that's 1984. Just double checking to see if they could join the Internationale, in which case we would have problems with them over here. Oh, we got Iceland. Oh, cool. So we stole Iceland from what, Denmark? What does the naval DLC add? If you want a really in-depth overview of that, the first 30 minutes of this stream is me talking just about that. But at a glance, it's new spotting mechanics. So when you're sailing around trying to find enemy ships, it's more of a skirmish rather than one fleet smashes other fleet. Which means that naval conflicts and naval campaign will take much longer, and it's more of a tug of war rather than just one side smashing out the other and then having complete naval superiority. It adds fuel, which is fuel. Task forces, and this is the bit that I'm really excited about. So it's kind of dividing down the naval doom stacks into smaller task forces, much the same way as we have army groups and armies for the land forces. It's now basically a similar system for navies. And also admirals have their own traits, skills, abilities, and all that type of stuff. Task forces can be formed around what mission they're doing. So a search and destroy task force will have more capital ships and probably a roughly equal ratio-wise number of screens, while a convoy escort would have loads of screens and very few capital ships. And then you can build your fleets around those kind of templates. Oh! There was a third thing I forgot. I totally forgot about one thing. They're adding naval territory to the game. So, for example, if you are fighting in and around Sweden, there are going to be inland inlets in which you can actually hide your ships, which will dramatically reduce the enemy's spotting, so you can really do the hit and runs around the Baltic, especially if you are Sweden. Then there are also things like the Caribbean, which will have some, including shark attacks. So if you are fighting in and around the Caribbean or around Japan and you lose a ship, then instead of losing 20% of the manpower from that ship, you would lose 80% of the manpower from that ship. So yeah, naval battles in and around the Caribbean and around Japan are going to be far more deadly. So yeah, there are different types of naval territory that they're adding to the game with modifiers like that. Then there is also the ability to block out what provinces you don't want ships to go along. So for example, if you are fed up with your armies trying to leave Germany by sea, just block off the German coast and then they won't do that anymore. It's basically considered impassable when it comes to pathfinding. That also includes convoys. So if you are setting up convoys, then you can basically determine what ports you want supplies to come in. So if you are Russia, rather than it all coming in through St. Petersburg, you could then instead designate Archangel so it comes through the White Sea rather than the Baltic, which is probably infested by German subs. So yeah, there are definitely a couple of changes coming through like that. Is that Slovakia, you see? Yeah. Slovakia quite often appears. No Weltkrieg, not yet. Germany wants to send volunteers. Well, actually, I should have said no, because they're just going to hang out in Australia now. Downfall and stability. AFM protests the war. Australia First Movement, a group that advocates neutrality and the cutting of ties with the British Crown, has set up a number of protests across the country to call for Australasia's abandonment of the current war. Cries of "Never Gallipoli" were heard from the marchers, who suggest the British have dragged the country into war after war, and it is time for it all to stop. The group's message has carried to the Australasian people quite well, and they're as disaffected by the lingering wounds of the Weltkrieg are clearly listening. Thankfully that was paternal autocrats rather than totalists. So everyone suffered from that one. I am still the largest party, though only by 1%. And once I have freedom of the press, that will go up by 5%. So I think I've timed that quite well. ACTU campaign. Responding to the government's decision to legalise trade unions, the newly legitimised ACTU began a major push for the next general election. Large crowds have been gathering to hear the syndicalist Fred Patterson speak, and while pundits don't give the radicals much hope in winning, there is a sense of worry regarding Patterson's growing support. Some ministers have expressed reservation of the legislation, calling it a dangerous experiment, but for the moment the damage appears to be minimal. Just stability going down, and down, and down. Manilorama, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. And war support is really... Oh, this is an offensive war. No, Britain. I mean, Canada, even, obviously. Freedom of the press, there it is. And my German troops have arrived. So I can now force conscription, which will give me limited conscription. Or we could do the... plebiscite. I think we want to do the plebiscite. One of the following must be true. Is at war with a major power or completed one of those focuses. I'm actually semi-tempted to try and improve my stability because 31% is low. Right, what are the other possibilities? I think we just need to start working on state of the army. Because we've done all of the political stuff that we can for a while. Yeah, do that. Our ground forces must be a new priority, promoting these generals who can bring the greatest benefit and reforming their methods for the sake of the nation. And then I think I'm going to begin the conscription plebiscite. The enactment of conscription laws will be an unpopular move, one that will be accompanied by cries of "Remember Gallipoli" throughout the country. Yet we have dire need to expand our army's enrolment. The best way to move forward would be to hold a national plebiscite on the issue. If it passes, we'll have a mandate we need without fear of mass reprisal. I mean, the party is now stronger than it is going to be otherwise. So we're going to hold it. What Australia needs is crocodile wrangle. South Rhodesia has capitulated. Oh, Union's not doing great either. Conscription plebiscite begins. The government has been preparing for the plebiscite for several weeks, and already the issue has swept across the Australasian Confederation. It is a controversial topic, and one that will be voted on a state-by-state basis. If more states approve it than don't, then the conscription laws will be immediately enacted. If the plebiscite fails, however, it will be an embarrassment for the government, and the conscription will become even more difficult to pass in the future. The full results will be in within a month or so. I think I may have done that way too late, actually. I was thinking... on the basis of I have a majority over the other parties, while that might work in an election, when it comes to a plebiscite it probably won't, because united they still outnumber me. Although Labour is for fighting, it's only the 13% national populists who aren't, I think. I guess Gallipoli to the Australians is like the Somme to the British. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the USA is definitely winning. Taking Texas off the AUS is important. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so your factories are increasing quite dramatically, although theirs are too. USA outnumbers CSA. AUS is hurting. If the USA can take more of the AUS than the CSA does, then we should be okay. It's just dangerous if the AUS takes too much, although I think the AUS might actually be pushing. Okay, 1939 federal election. As per the Constitution of Australasia, elections are to be held at least once every 3 years, a legacy of Australian practice. This year's election is particularly important due to the rise of Eric Campbell's Australasian Guard, which is running for the federal elections of the Centre Party, and Percy Stevenson's Australasia First movement, both of which have siphoned support from the traditional Conservative parties. Will the electorate stick with one of the established political parties, or will they opt instead for the Radicals? So Stanley Bruce in the United Australia Party, which is a huge surge in popularity for the Social Conservatives. Curtin and the Australia Labour Party. Campbell and the Centrists. Or Australasia First, which gains unrest penalty. Oh, both of these are unrest. These two are fine. Just curious. So, Australasia... Sorry, the Australasia Labour Party could potentially lead to these ones. I mean, the thing with this tree is there aren't very many / any permanent bonuses. I guess, except maybe down here. Here we get British advisors. Or the AFM. We've not seen anything with victory for the Guard either. Which might happen, I guess, if one of these wins? Because AFM is different from the Guard. Oh no, they're the National Populists, they're the Paternal Autocrats. Okay, no, they are different. Further down the line, do I plan to go for nukes, or is Australasia too small for it? I don't really bother with nukes, I find them boring. Because there's absolutely no downside to using them. Like, the entire world should be aghast at their use. There's no diplomatic penalty for it, and there should be. So the AFM gives you a lot of bonuses, actually. Fortress Australasia. Getting alliance with Japan. Or the Guard, which gets you a bunch of manpower. I wonder if victory for the Guard appears if you get invaded by someone. I kind of suspect that might be the way it works. Regardless, I'm going to go with United Australasia, because, or United Australia. Or is it Australia? No, it is Australasia. And that is the Social Conservatives. Let's do that. We see our support shooting up to 51%, which is more than the majority. That is a majority. New South Wales votes no. Votes in the conscription plebiscite are coming in from the state of New South Wales, and the results indicate the people there have voted against the motion. That's the one that was the most likely to say no. So I'm not bothered by that. Central America declared war on the United Provinces of America. Average popularity. Good. Ooh, and we can build some more factories. Or we could if there was any space. Stick those there. Northern Territory votes yes. Votes in the conscription plebiscite coming in. They have voted in our favour. Huzzah! Western Australia votes yes. That's 2-1. (3-1). Australasian guard coup. Oh, okay. Maybe this is how you go guard. Events in Australasia have reached boiling point and the paramilitary groups loyal to the Australasian Guard have stormed the capital. The coup is being led by Thomas Blamey along with Eric Campbell. Wait, Blamey, that's one of these two, isn't it? Yep, that's him. Shit, I'm about to lose my top field marshal. Along with Eric Campbell, both heroes of the Welsh Creek. For the soldiers of the military districts stationed in Canberra, many of them also veterans of the Welsh Creek, a hard choice must be made. Either turn to their guns upon their heroes or fellow soldiers, or stand aside and allow him to overthrow the democratically elected government of Australasia. Stability goes down even further. Or we could have the coup succeeds, national populists become in power, and we would go down the victory for the guard tree. So this is how you do it. No, I'm not going guard. I'm democratic. I like the democracies. I like playing in the Entente. I find it far more interesting. Because the guard is isolationist, then you would do literally nothing. Unless Japan invades you. Queensland votes yes. Downfall and stability. Yeah, stability is a slight problem that we've got going on right now. Votes in the conscription plebiscite are coming in from the state of Queensland. The results indicate the people there have voted in favour. So stability at this level, does that actually tick up over time, unlike like good stability? Weekly stability down. No, I really don't like this system. God is Entente. Oh yeah, you're right actually, Shadowhawk, that's true. But I still like the Democrats. We're doing the Democrats. Another time we might try this. I'm just seeing what all of these do. Daily political power gain plus 0.5. Wow. Max volunteer force divisions. I have no idea what that means. But plus 0.5 daily political power, that's mental. Or over here. But it really depends on our relations with Britain. I don't think the Guard is uber long live the king. I mean, this is the only one where they actually say anything about the British Empire. Over here it's just like, yeah, rejoin the Entente. Kill the syndicalists. Democracy is non-negotiable. Yeah, we're doing democracy, so we're going to finish State of the Army, then we'll probably finish the political tree because I want to make sure we're actually stable. And then we'll go after that. Japan declared war on Mongolia. GG Mongolia. Victoria votes yes. Dissolution of the Australasian Guard. Today, Eric Campbell and Thomas Blamey, both veterans of the Weltkrieg and perpetrators of the Australasian Guard's attempted coup d'etat, were sentenced to life imprisonment by the High Court of Australasia for high treason. The leadership of the Guard and its political wing, the Centre Party, shares the same fate along with many prominent members. The Centre Party has been dissolved and the Australasian Guard more or less ended as a political force in Australasia. Charles Weiner Brooke unfortunately could not be linked directly to the coup and so escaped a prison sentence, although many accuse him of bribing those involved in his persecution. I gain stability, national populace go down, but Blamey is lost. Which is a blow, because he was really good. Brunda White here is a bit rubbish. And by a bit rubbish, I mean he is really bad. I might actually promote Stevens. Do we have anyone else who make a natural Field Marshal? I mean, Freyberg potentially could. More so than Stevens. You know what? We're going to do that. So you, Freyberg, are getting a promotion. Congratulations. Ooh, you could also have Logistics Wizard. I would like that. And Charismatic. Sure, why not? Oh, and another one. Max Planning. Alright, he's actually a really good Field Marshal too. I do not feel bad about that decision anymore. And we need a new commander, which is potentially going to be Moorehead. I think Stevens still has more potential. He's a trickster already. He has another slot for a trait, and I feel like he can train up his skills pretty quickly. So we're going to go with Stevens here. He can only be a guerrilla fighter, but he should unlock other abilities sooner or later, hopefully. Frankly, I want to see the Soviets versus France. You're going to see the Soviets versus Germany. You're going to see the Soviets and France versus Germany. In fact, it's going to be Soviets, Britain, France versus Germany, Spain, Eastern Europe. And then Canada, USA, Australasia, India versus... This is going to be a big war when it breaks out. Like, we're already at war with Britain, but that's, quite frankly, just a bit of a stalemate until something happens here. I need Bharatiya to go to war with India, then I'm going to get involved. Although, actually, this reminds me, I should probably... Tasmania votes yes. Yeah, we are dominating this vote. We're fine. The capital fleet should probably be out and about. Where are threats most likely to come from? Probably not there. There are a lot of seas around Australia. Crikey. And then we'll get the subs. Yeah. I feel like that should be the other way around. Yeah, that should totally be the other way around. So you lot are going to be convoy raiding 1, 2, 3. And then the capital fleet. Search and destroy 1. One, two, three. And that actually secures everything, because we don't need to worry about this middle one, because these 3 are being done, and these 3 are being done. And then this other one doesn't matter either, because the ones adjacent to it are selected. So yeah, that's us done. Capital fleet should be based here. Submarines can be in the other port, and I might upgrade that port. I think we're going to need to. So let's go ahead and queue that up right now. That needs to be done. that needs to be done. Could potentially do with one up there as well, but less important. See you, Dana. Yeah, I will be ending soon as well. New Zealand votes no. That's like 6-2 though so far. Stability's gone up. Good. Conscription plebiscite result equals yes. The people of the Australasian Dominions have overwhelmingly backed the government in its desire to introduce limited conscription to the Australasian Confederation. Political power plus 100, change of popularity, social conservatives. We're up to 69% again. And at this point, can I actually change manpower laws? Okay, so from now on I can change manpower laws freely. I can also more than 50% war support. Are you kidding me? Ugh. Alright, war economy is going to be really difficult for us to get. Yes, getting rid of bled dry will help, but that's still going to be tough. But we should start getting manpower at last. Finally. Finally. Conscription riots in New Zealand. As the votes were being counted, it soon became clear that the yay side would carry the day. However, complications have arisen since New Zealand overwhelmingly voted no to Confederate conscription, while mainland Australians mainly voted yes. As a territory which already feels like it was forced into a confederation by the Consolidation of Resources Act in 1924, feelings are running raw and several riots have broken out in Auckland and elsewhere, demanding a referendum be held in the state to determine its future as a part of Australia. Stability just goes down and down and down. Romania declared war on Bulgaria, but too late. Bulgaria is strong now. It could very well, possibly, potentially be said that Bulgaria are the Russia of the Balkans, was it? The France of the Balkans? No, that doesn't sound right. The Britain of the Balkans, that was it. Hey Tice, hello to you in Turkey. Yeah, I have a feeling that Bulgaria are going to wreck them. They have quite a few less divisions, but they have a buttload more manpower, are in a war economy, and have more factories. A lot more factories. So long as Bulgaria can, like, hold off the initial wave, which they should be able to thanks to the river, they should be fine. Okay, call for unity. Base stability goes up. Labour threat is over. Syndicalists and Totalists go down. That would actually be useful, because that would allow me to go over 60%. So I'd have the high party popularity again. We have endured more than our fair share of labour conflicts within the 20th century, and thus the time is to put the chapter of our history to a close. Let's do it. Turkey's gone Cindy. Oh, for Pete's sake, they have as well. I thought you were a Bulgarian puppet. How the hell has that happened? Yeah, Turkey definitely needs some work now. I understand the Ottoman guy has left, but they could really do with some extra work. Wait, who's Portugal at war with? Portugal, are you in the Entente? You're in the Entente. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the USA is taking out the AUS, which I'm very happy to see. Do I have my new tanks yet? No. 79 days. And I also need to start actually manufacturing new unit types. I have a fair amount of experience, because as you lend lease resources to other people, you get army experience in return based on how they use those. Civil war in South Africa, another one. The former British Dominion of South Africa has descended into chaos. The pro-British provinces in the Cape and Natal, as well as Rhodesia, battle with the Afrikaner-dominated Orange Free State and Transvaal for the control of the country in what is now being referred to as the Fourth Boer War. Should we send aid to the pro-Entente Federationalists or stay out of it? My manpower. I just got that. Alright, mass mobilization. Fleet in being. So our navies are being improved. Although it's 39, so we should probably do this. Yeah, this mod is Kaiserreich. Tice. Nationally twin in South Africa. So... Did I just send troops to nothing? I think I just sent troops to nothing. Yeah, I really did. Okay, so I got a bunch of political power and army experience for that, but I did lose 30,000... No, 48,000 manpower. Fine. I could... Be really nice. How many troops do I still have to mobilize? Tell me this information. It's important. Like, do I want to switch from limited upwards? Am I going to be fine? I don't know. I was talking about going for Holden? Or Vickers Armstrong. That improves light cruiser armor and firepower. I think I might actually go for heavy cruisers. Although, actually, light cruisers have the better anti-air. And we have big bonuses coming to anti-air from this. That surface visibility and max speed is going to be super useful for them. So maybe I do want to go light cruisers. Let's just do a quick comparison. So, light cruisers do cost less resources to build. They cost less manpower. They are a lot better at detecting submarines. They cannot shore bombard, which the heavy cruisers can. They are harder to see. They are same speed, less hit points, quite a lot less armor. Max range. Max range is a big issue. Yeah, the heavy cruisers have that range. Anti-air of 8 against anti-air of 9. Barely difference in anti-air. No, we're going to go with the heavy cruisers. Which means that I don't need to get the other... The Vickers Armstrong. I don't want light tanks, they're rubbish. Don't want heavy tanks, that's not a good upgrade. I think we're going to go with Holden. Or we could just go straight for the cruiser manufacturer. Let's do that. We'll start actually thinking about building some. Kaiser-i-Hind. The ruling Nizam of princely India, Osman Ali Khan, today proclaimed himself the true successor of the mantle of the Kaiser-i-Hind, a title previously borne only by the Mughal and British emperors of the subcontinent. This proclamation clearly indicates that the Nizam considers the claims of others to Indian rule as little more than fiction and raises the spectre of renewed war between the Indian Empire and its neighbouring states. Okay. I'm still waiting for this conflict to kick off. Yeah, the Soviets did win this civil war. And quite handily. Mongolia is at war with Japan, but the Soviets are not at war with Mongolia, so Mongolia might actually stand a chance here. Although it looks like they're being invaded, but that is a lot of supply issues. They could well just drain the others. Okay, my 39, we've already built all of those. We could get decryption, we could also get research time ahead of time. It's a full year. But I have the 50% research reduction. Well, I'm going to do that. Why not? It takes half a year. It's reasonable. Light cruisers cost a lot less manpower. Yeah, I know, but I'm hoping that I can just use less heavy cruisers overall. Plus the range thing is a clincher. Like, range is going to be a problem out here. Right, I know that I can get hospitals now. In fact, can I just do this and get all the things? Definitely have enough of those. Definitely have enough of those. Definitely have enough of those. And those are already done. Cool. And I feel like I want to change you guys into infantry divisions. Manpower is going to be a problem, but we have enough of everything else. "43 days. And then I'm going to radically switch my production to tanks. And probably motorized. At least until 41, at which case I can get mechanized. Concentrated industry is nearly done. There it goes. Let's get 39 artillery. In response to the return of the World War, the Returned and Services League of Australia has been tasked with forming a militia force comprised of both Wells Creek veterans, too old to fight overseas, and men too young to enlist. This militia is set up mostly for the possibility that Australasia might be invaded, for which the civilian force would engage in guerrilla warfare against the invaders. 4 units of militia will be raised, and we gain 20,000 manpower. Okay, so those units of militia will immediately... Oh, I can't change them. Alright. Can I at least upgrade them? Nope. I can't change them at all. Well, alright then. High popularity, there we go. It's more like it. Increase in stability, we are now on low instead of very low. And Joseph Lyons has died. Today the Australasian Parliament mourns the loss of Joseph A. Lyon. He is remembered fondly by all sides of politics, despite being one of the leaders of the Nationalist Party. His legacy, however, will be one of hardship and determination, which was shown when he, alongside Stanley Bruce, continued to push for democratic elections at the risk of dismissal. He was also partially responsible for implementing policies to help alleviate the worst of the Depression, and despite the failure of the Nationalists, he was seen fondly amongst the many of the general populace for making the best of what he had. Wait, is he someone I actually have? Oh, he is. And he's being replaced by military factory construction speed bonus. Wait, no. Yeah, military construction, production efficiency cap, war support increase. He's actually pretty good. Military entrepreneur. I'm happy with that. Maori Act? Because I know the Maori were saying that they wanted additional stuff. Or we could get stability up. Unfortunately, there's no real way of getting war support up. At least not through those focuses. Might be over here. What's Man the Guns? That's the new DLC that was announced for Hearts of Iron. Much of the land owned by Maori in New Zealand is economically unproductive. Many are suggesting we turn those barren locations into fruitful sites of industry and commerce. The people of New Zealand are largely opposed to these proposals, however, and want Maori rights to these lands to be guaranteed by law. A decision must soon be made as to which we consider more important. Anyway, I'm going to call the stream at this point. It is getting very late and my voice is starting to really hurt. So if you want to know more about Man the Guns, check out the beginning of this video. It'll be up on Twitch for like 2 weeks, and I might upload this to YouTube as well. It's been fairly decent, and the AI hasn't thrown any major howlers yet. So if you want to know more about Man the Guns, which is the new DLC which has been announced by Paradox and for which I got to see a press release version of their plans for it at ParadoxCon, then check out the beginning of this video and you can find that. It's literally the first half an hour is just me talking about it. If you have enjoyed this, then be sure to hit that follow button to get notifications when I'm live again in the future. If you've really enjoyed this, then do consider subscribing. It helps the channel out and allows me to do more content like this. If you want to see more of this type of thing, then check out my YouTube, which you can find at youtube.com/Mordred Viking. I do also have a Discord, which you can find at this link here. If you want to interact with the community, they're a cool bunch. They know an awful lot about games. That's also where I hang out very often, so if you want to say hello to me, that is where you can do that. And that's, yeah, that good stuff. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah, Patreon. If you want to support the channel other ways, check out my Patreon, which you can find at that link there. Anyway, I am going to go and raid Rimmy. Seeing as we've just been playing as Australia, we're going to go and raid an Australian Twitch streamer who's currently playing City Skylines. So head on over there, say hello from Mordred Viking if you would, very much appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. My next stream will be tomorrow. That's going to be Crusader Kings 2, where I can finally talk about Holy Fury, which is the new Crusader Kings expansion. And my god, it looks good, and I really want to talk about it, but I can't until tomorrow. So head on over tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Thank you all for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.